Christian Morant is an author, a professional spoken word artist, and a musician. He tells me one on one what he's working on right now for this edition of Quintin's Close Ups, sponsored by Joe Good, attorney at law. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close Ups on Facebook. Christian Morant, welcome to Quintin's Close Ups.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you're an author, a professional spoken word artist, and of course, a musician, most known for your enthralling level of poetry and advocacy on mental health. Tell me, Christian, as we sit here right now, what's new, what's now with your music and your advocacy?
Well, thank you for the lovely introduction. The latest thing on my chopping block is I released a new album called I Am Not a Rapper, which has been really exciting, and it encompasses the musical aspect along with the poetry aspect as well.
No, that's amazing. Why I Am Not a Rapper? Why now?
Well, like we kind of touched on, I find myself as primarily a poet, from the spoken word variety, right? So it's really free forming. However, because I come from a long lineage of musicians, I am never going to shy away from the musical element. So I use the rap medium since I didn't venture off into music, into instrumentation as much as the rest of the family. So my words, I use the rap medium component and then just mix it with the poetry. So I figured this is a nice safeguard to be like, well, I'm a rap, but I'm not a rapper.
What more have you discovered about yourself as a musician now that you've entered this rap medium?
Yeah. That it takes a lot of work. There are real rappers out there, and I commend rappers that like really, since they were born, really grasp it. It takes work, but it takes vulnerability too. But I learned that more with the poetry itself, just being vulnerable. And then the technical aspect, really, recording is a lot. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but the album itself was a live album. We did each track live in studio, so that was difficult actually. So so instead of typically like an artist does, they might do vocals and then instrumentation, but we did everything in studio. So and we filmed it all too.
Wow, very, very interesting. How vulnerable were you in that situation with taping and doing all this live?
You got to be to the fullest extent vulnerable, and you have to be open-minded. If something doesn't work, you got to do it again, in which we did several different times.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference about this live taping?
So I think it maybe go back to your previous question of really, it really challenges you to like know your craft.
Yes.
And that's one thing. And you listen to the album, it doesn't sound necessarily sonically perfect, like a perfectly produced track would. But then there's beauty in that too. And that's actually something I strive for, displaying the imperfections, but at the same time, giving it your all. That kind of dichotomy.
Right.
So just the pressure of really, actually, that was a secondary thing that I really valued in the process of recording it. That it forced me to be like, hey, if you're going to do this, do it to your fullest extent. So it actually really pushed me to practice and articulate and really get it down and restructure maybe some of the wording that might not fit, because it might be too much. So I really actually enjoyed that part.
Wow. This might be a redundant question, Christian,
Yeah.
but who was Christian Morant in the studio doing this live taping?
A lot of different hats, I will say that. But actually, the easiest thing to say is me. But it is a good question because I actually went through various pseudonyms before. I mean, I've got a bunch of nicknames, but I had a previous artist name. I went by Lyrical, and then I was part of a band called Noisy Boys. but it was just kind of becoming too much of an identity crisis. And I was like, and this actually allowed me um, to come back to myself. It's a crazy, redundant story that we've all heard, but you have, as much as we are ourselves in our body, we have to find ourselves in our mind, right? So I was really excited to step back into just me after trying to go find me.
Yeah, exactly. That brings me to my next question for you.
Yes.
How exactly are your listeners able to actually increase their intuition and self awareness to your music?
Oh, yeah. So it's available. The album itself is available online, Spotify, iTunes, all the any music platforms. But again, this actual album itself, each song is was filmed again. So each video is online. So the first, I think, 5 or 6 are available, and then from since it came out in December, um, every month since I've been releasing the rest of the videos. So another, I think, 5 or 6 videos from the studios from the sessions will be coming out too. So that, which is on YouTube.
Me
So
too.
yep.
Which one of these songs, Christian, resembles you as a musician and as a person?
I think they all do. But if you're talking about like which one the most, oh man. Um, Again, I think they all do actually. um, I think "I Am Not a Rapper." The title track is obviously, I think, a I don't know, all encompassing one to kind of really tell you what it says itself in the title. "I Am Not a Rapper." But yeah, I think they all do really, because it is a really what's it called? I hate to say the word vulnerable so many times, but it is a storytelling kind of journey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. What is the art of storytelling from your perspective as a musician?
Oh, what is it? Um, Really being true to yourself, but also being able to kind of paint a picture for the listener too. So, in the sense of your question, uh, maybe you aren't going a vulnerable truth telling route. Maybe you're a storyteller of fiction or of history.
Yeah.
So in a broader scheme, that you're just doing your best to paint that picture vividly, with good detail. Take them on a journey, take them on highs and lows. It's not all just pretty rainbows, but it's all not just trenches either. So
Yeah.
really, um, ultimately at the end of the day, reminding us that we're human. Or if you're talking about sci-fi stuff,
Oh yeah.
depicting the difference of non-human, like
Mhm.
really, really getting into your imagery, and stuff like that. So really being a painter with words.
Mm.
Yeah.
What are your depictions of rap?
One of my depictions of rap.
Rap music? Yes, sir.
Um, I mean, I don't think it's just rap. I think it's any music. It's any. Um, it can go any way. You can have the storytelling rap that I kind of do. You can have party rap. You can have
Yeah.
rock rap, metal rap. Um, it's definitely an avenue, a release
Mm.
for those of us trying to make sense of our thoughts. So I'll just say I'm grateful for it. It is poetry at the end of the day. Any song at the end of the day, whether it's rap, rock, it is songwriting is poetry. So
Mm.
that very bare bones for me, again, is a release. But I will say, rap itself allows me to kind of articulately calculate in like a fun way. And I know that's really cool. I know from real rappers, it's fun trying to find those how to piece it together in this box or in
Yeah.
this. So I was rap's fun. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
This might be a silly question. I know you're trying to, but let me ask you this: how do
Yeah.
you think outside of the box when it comes to that rap medium?
Um, I don't know if I'm fully understanding the question.
Yes, sir. You talk about trying to paint everything into one box when it comes to the
Mhm.
rap music. Do you take an avenue as far as trying to go and think outside the box when it comes to that?
Um, hmm, I still don't know if I'm following if it's
Oh,
necessarily
well,
one. Yeah,
no worries. Let me ask you this, and a better
yeah,
question is this:
yeah.
what is the biggest difference about rap from when you were learning about rap to right now? Now that you're an artist,
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, well, I listen to a lot of Eminem. Um, so there's times where general public might say he's got angrier tones, but he's also got his vulnerable stuff too. But then there's J. Cole, um, what was it, NF, Hobson.
oh yeah,
Um, I particularly, I guess, what you would say maybe listen to apart from M and stuff like that, the underground stuff like Hobson and Logic, like they used to be kind of a underground scene. Um, because for me, there was something about storytelling. I've mentioned it several times. Storytelling, just being able to kind of take you on a journey, and I think that also equates to movies and stuff like that. And music is a big part of movies too. So it's really cool to see how I was actually watching. I think The Equalizer the other day, the show with Queen Latifah, and I don't know the name of it, but I caught a really cool scene where it shifted and there was this dope hip hop track on it. I was like, that's dope. I love how they wove it in real kind of sneakily,
yeah.
but it was real cool how it fit the mood. So
Mhm.
music in general just is a vibe. But sorry, long-winded answer, but um how I see it nowadays. That's tough to answer because I've actually nowadays I listen to a lot of like ethereal tones and a lot of jazz and a lot of like soul music and stuff like that. But if the rap I do pay attention to, it's actually my homies. So like Indie Gold,
Yes.
um, Poetic Boy D, a lot of the homies, and they're crafty. So yeah, I don't really know too much what the rest of the rap game is like other than the homies because like who's gonna support us other than
Mm,
ourselves, right?
mhm.
So I hope that answers it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What other genre do you want to roll into your music next, Christian?
Well, I've already touched kind of a little bit on rock before,
Right.
um, and that's kind of maybe always the essence there.
Mm.
Um, Next, um, I think maybe that soul funk kind of like groove. And I don't know if you know the band Psychedelics, the Psychedelics.
Oh yes.
Um, they some nasty cats. They some nasty cats. So like if I ever had a chance, do something with them, I think like maybe in the soul funk groove, but still but obviously throw that, and I've heard hip hop rap tracks with that song full groove. I just don't know if I've done it necessarily. So I think that'd be cool. And then obviously taking it way wild and maybe like some classical stuff. Like I saw uh not Black Delicious. Black Violin.
Right.
Like that was such I saw that at the Gilliard
Yes, sir.
a couple months ago.
Right.
Unbelievable. So like that, I don't know if I could do that, but in the vein of that would
Yes.
be unbelievable.
Wow, that's really amazing. And
Yeah.
one last time, Christian,
Yeah.
where can people purchase your music?
Yeah, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere like that. Just my name, Christian Morant.
Mm.
And I have a website too, christianmorant.com, where you can also get this shirt, this book, and also recently published a children's book as well with my dad called I
Oh,
Belong. Yeah,
wow. Oh
yeah.
man, that's amazing. That's really, really amazing. Maybe one day I can get you all together for a joint interview. We could talk about the book and everything.
Oh my God, yeah, I would absolutely love that. Yeah,
Okay, I'll work on that. Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I forgot to say this earlier, but I want to thank Jill Good, attorney at law of Mount Pleasant, for sponsoring this particular interview. And secondly, Christian, I want to thank you for your time here on Quintin's Close-Ups.
Yes, thank you, Quentin. I really
Yo,
appreciate the questions, man.
oh, you're very welcome. You're welcome.